Hey, what's happening, my network marketing friends? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another episode. All right, so here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this whole concept of spillover in network marketing. And depending on what type of compensation plan that you have in your network marketing business, this subject comes up, right? Now, if you're in a binary or a matrix would naturally have spillover. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritties of compensation plans in this particular episode, but I just think it's really interesting how people get caught up in this whole idea of having a power leg or spillover in a leg, and I'll tell you this right now, if you're promoting and using the term spillover, or you'll have people placed underneath you, and if that's a primary part of what you're doing, especially if you're in a binary compensation plan, what you're doing is you're creating expectations that can't always be met, because here's the deal. Not everybody's going to be in, quote, the power leg. You can't, let me just explain something to you. And for those of you that are not in a binary compensation plan, I think it's good for you to understand this as well. Okay, a binary comp plan, there's two legs, a left leg and a right leg. There's only two legs, and you can only personally enroll two people, one on your left and one on your right. You can obviously, and I'll also say this because sometimes people say, use this term, all you got to do is put two in and you're done. No, just because you can only put two on your front line, one left and one right, does not mean you only put two people in. So you need to recruit a lot more than that if you're going to be successful in a network marketing business. The thing that I want to talk about, because this creates drama in an organization when there's a lot of discussion over power legs and getting spillover, and if that conversation is constantly going on, then someone is going to be on an inside leg, or they're not going to be on the power leg, and they're going to feel like, oh, well, gee, how come nobody's following underneath me in my leg? I'm on an inside leg or an inside leg, and this person over here, well, they're on an outside leg, and maybe I should be moved over to this leg, which you can't be moving people around in an organization. Here's the deal. Regardless of whether you are lucky enough to be in a leg where you do happen to get some spillover, and that does happen, where people naturally might fall in line because of the leg that you're in. People upline from you are building that leg, and ultimately those people may fall beneath you in that leg. The very simple reality is this: you still have to build the business. You still have to build that other leg. So if you got to build a leg, it's the same thing as building two legs. If I'm going to build this other leg over here that's not getting any spillover, then in order for me to earn money based on whatever spillover might have occurred in this leg, the only way for me to capture that volume is I've got to be able to build out that other leg. So if you're going to build a leg, that means you're not going to just go put one person in there and, okay, I'm done. I'm going to wait around for that person to get to work. You're going to be recruiting and putting people in that leg, multiple people, and you're going to continue to recruit and put multiple people in that leg. And some of the binary comp plans, in fact, also, by the way, do require you, regardless of whether you have spillover in a leg, that you have to personally sponsor people in your left leg and personally sponsor people in your right leg to meet certain ranks or qualifications in the compensation plan. I'm bringing this up because from a leadership perspective, if there's too much discussion going on around this whole concept of spillover and expectations, people expecting that they're going to be given something, then you're literally crippling your organization. So for those of you that are in a binary compensation plan, I think it's really important for you to think about, what are we communicating to the team? What is the message that we're communicating? I personally wouldn't be promising or guaranteeing anybody anything at any time. that they're going to have people placed beneath them, because now they're going to have expectations around placements or having volume falling beneath them. Look, and what that does is it creates animosity, it creates frustration, it creates discouragement, it creates people like, well, they're getting in it, but I'm not, so and they're going to sit around and they're going to whine about it, and they're not going to be productive because you or whoever it is has created a level of expectation that they would have, or there are people that are getting spillover in an organization. There's no guarantee with anybody in any organization, with or without a binary compensation plan, that they're going to have people placed beneath them. You have to create a situation as a leader in network marketing where people are going to build their organization. And that means that they've got to take action and build whatever they've got to build. If you're going to qualify at this rank and you need X number of personally enrolled people, they're going to have to personally enroll those people wherever they might be in a binary or any other compensation plan. Not that, I'll help you get there by putting people underneath you. I'll talk about that in another one. In fact, the very next episode next week, we're going to talk about that as well. But just be careful, because this whole myth of spillover that somehow you're going to be rich or you're going to have all this money because you got put into a power leg is a myth. It is not a reality, because in any compensation plan, the reality is the only way for you to capture that volume that you might have had spilled over into one leg is you've got to bust it and build out this other leg. And it involves you recruiting numbers of people and creating lots and lots of volume. So regardless of whether you have spillover or you don't, you still have to build it. You still have to build the business. The business is not going to build itself. You're not going to just have a bunch of spillover running down one leg and you're going to earn a bunch of money on it. You earn nothing in most of these compensation plans. I mean, you could have $10 million running down one leg, and if you don't do anything on the other leg, you will not earn a dime. In fact, almost probably every compensation plan in network marketing that's a binary, it requires you to build that other side. So the reality is, if you have to build the other side, what's the difference between having spillover or not having spillover? Sure, there might be some extra volume, but for you to really capitalize on that volume, you're going to have to put a ton of volume in this other leg. So I just think it's like, you got to be careful with the messaging, you guys, in terms of what you're communicating to your teams about guaranteeing people in their organization, or where you're going to have people falling beneath you, because now what you've done is you've created an unrealistic expectation, because the fact is not every single person is going to be in a leg that volume might fall under, and some people may be in an inside leg and they're going to have to build both legs, but the reality is you should be building both legs anyhow. So look, there's too much drama that I see that takes place around this particular situation with spillover. The myth of spillover is, yeah, you might get volume in your group, fine, but you can't make a dime on that unless you build out the other leg. So regardless of whether if you're in a situation right now where you're on an inside leg and you're not getting spillover, who cares? You're going to have to build the business anyhow. Build both legs. It's the same thing as building one leg. You're just building two legs. And for people that are not in a binary, most of those people, they've got to build multiple legs. 5, 10, 12, 15 different legs to really build their business. So the reality is, either way, you have to build the business. So get past the politics and why am I on this leg? And I'm just going to sit here and complain about the fact that I'm on an inside leg. How's that helping you? The only thing that's going to help you is for you to get to work and start building the business and get past this whole, how come I'm not getting volume placed in my leg? That person is. Well, fine. That person might have $10 million running down their leg, but the only way that they're going to make any money is they've got to build the other leg anyhow. So the volume means nothing unless anything is built. That means you have to build it. So look, I don't know where you're catching me. You might be catching me on YouTube. You might be catching me on my podcast. The rest of this episode, the conversation takes place at toddfalcone.com/episode 63. That's TODDFALCONE.com/episode 63. I want to hear from you guys on this. What is your thoughts on spillover and expectations, and what's happening? Have you dealt with this in your own organization? I want to hear from you. So that's it for today's episode. We'll see you next time. Have an amazing day. Thanks for plugging in.